Bunny bin.
Bouncy.
Bouncy.
Bouncy Ben. You guys are going to teach Miss Atwood some of the things about Bouncy Ben. And what sound does Bouncy Ben make? Yeah, he's got long bunny ears and he bounces and they flap down and he says, buh, buh. You guys are rock stars. All right, so now we're going to do our sounds race, Miss Atwood, which is where we try and make these sounds as fast as we can. So I need you to unmute for me right now. That way I can hear you. Look at everybody go. Super proud of you. Jackson's going to unmute. Awesome. And this friend. All right, ready? We're going to make these sounds and only the sounds as fast as we can. Start here. Ah, everybody say it. Ah. Ooh. Mmm. Mmm. Buh. Buh. Good job. D. D. Awesome. And last one. Good. All right, back to muting everybody. You guys rock that. So, before we move on to our new concepts for the day today, I want to talk specifically about Annie Apple and what makes her so special, because we are going to need her again in this unit, just like we used her a lot in the last unit. So if you can tell me something about Annie Apple and why we need her so much, I want you to raise your hand so I can ask you to unmute. Why is Annie Apple special? Why do we need her so much? Let's go to our friend Theo. What's up with Annie Apple, Theo?
Annie Apple is an apple.
I do like that about her, but I want you to think about the way that we use her in words. So we're going to go to our friend Jackson. What do you know about Annie Apple, Jackson?
Because she's a vowel.
Wow, kiss your brain.
job.
If you knew that, give me a thumbs up. Annie Apple is a vowel. So why are vowels important? Why do I need them?
They go in the middle of the sound. Go into the middle of sound.
You're right, Jackson. They go in the middle of words. They are usually the middle sound. I cannot have a word if I don't have a vowel. And right now, Miss Atwood, the only vowel we're working with is Annie Apple, even though there are a couple other ones too. We're going to focus on Annie Apple. So I'm going to need her along with all my other Letterlanders today. So let's put them back. We've got Annie Apple, got Firefighter Fred, got Dippy Dip, Bouncy Ben, Noisy Nick, Munchy Mike, and Lucy Lamplight. Now, there's a card that we're going to need today that's not up there. It's a card that looks like this. What is crazy about this card? Raise your hand if you see something funny going on here. Rakaya, what's going on here?
Kicking King and Clever Cat.
They're on the same card. I like the way that you noticed that. Kicking King and Clever Cat are stuck together here. Usually when I see them, they're on separate cards. We've got Kicking King down here and Clever Cat up there. But today, we're going to work on Kicking King and Clever Cat being on the same card. What sound do both of these Letterlanders make? Take a minute to think about that. Think about Clever Cat sound and think about Kicking King sound. Miss Atwood, they both say what? Very good. So when we see them next to each other like this, okay, they're only going to make that sound one time. We don't have to make the k for Clever Cat and the k for Kicking King. We just say their sound once like this. K. Can you try that? K, k. And when we see them in words like this, it usually comes at the end of a word. So we're going to watch a little video on Letterland right now to find out why are both of these characters on the same card and why do they come at the end of words. All right? So that's how all of our regular Letterlanders are up top. I want you to go down, Miss Atwood, till you get to the green ones, digraphs and trigraphs. Keep going, keep going. These are all of our blends. Keep going. Stop. Go back up.
Right there.
Perfect. All right, so once you get into the green cards, you'll see Clever Cat and Kicking King on the same card. We're going to click on that. You did it. You wished so hard. You got it to work, and I'm super proud of you. All right, so we're going to play the story about Clever Cat and Kicking King, and we're going to find out why are they together and why do they come at the end. And then I'm going to go to you because I'm going to ask you those questions. I want you to be able to answer them for me. Are you ready? Can you click the play button for me, Miss Atwood?
Clever Cat and Kicking King make the same sound. But how do we know which letter to use in a word? Well, Kicking King usually finds it too crowded at the start of words. He prefers to be at the end of words, where there is more space to kick. So Clever Cat begins far more words than Kicking King. And at the end of words, she likes to sit with him and watch him kick. Kicking King will have to kick the ball carefully, so he does not hit those chicks or the boys cycling on the track towards the dock. Can you hear the duck quacking? I wonder if that girl has some food for them in her bucket.
Can you go click the bucket and see what happens, Miss Atwood?
Bucket.
Ooh, can you click the duck in the pond and see what happens? He kind of swam away. Maybe he's not down there anymore.
He left us there.
There he is.
Duck.
Good job. All right, so hopefully you were able to hear and be an extra good listener. And again, I'm really excited for you to go back and do this on the Letterland website by yourself. But what did you hear about Clever Cat and Kicking King by listening to that story? Ellison, can you tell us something about them?
Kicking King doesn't like to be at the beginning of words.
Because he might kick somebody. So usually we'll only use Clever Cat at the beginning, okay? Sometimes Kicking King, but usually Clever Cat. Now, why is Clever Cat with Kicking King at the end of the word? Because they explain that to you too. What did you find out, Rakaya?
They mixed it. Because Clever Cat was in his own spot, and then he was in his own spot, and then they probably mixed it.
They did mix it so they both make that k sound, but it's because Clever Cat likes to watch Kicking King do his really high kicks. So at the end of words, you need Clever Cat first watching Kicking King do his really high kicks. So just Clever Cat at the beginning, and then Clever Cat and Kicking King at the end making the k sound. You can come on back, Miss Atwood. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to show you this again, and I'm going to read it one more time in case you missed it. It says, Clever Cat loves to sit safely just behind Kicking King and watch while he kicks at the end of short vowel words, like in duck, pack, and sock. Okay? Say duck. Good. Say pack. Say sock. So at the end of all of those words, you hear both Clever Cat and Kicking King making that k sound. We're going to need them for our word families. Are you ready to learn our new word families, Miss Atwood? All right. So let's turn these guys off. Let's spin them around. I want you to be able to see all of my new words. Awesome. So Clever Cat and Kicking King are going to sit at the end. They only ever sit together at the end of words. You can see them down here with these words, all right? But I want you to take a careful look at who else I'm going to need from the back of my pocket chart. And let's get a little closer so that they can see a little bit better. Beep, 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 beep. back it up a little bit so we can see everybody. So I noticed that I need Annie Apple, I need Munching Mike, and I need Noisy Nick in my words. I'm going to put them here. I'll put him here. And Annie Apple, just like she did before, she's going to bounce in between all of these families. So we are going to start over here with Annie Apple and Noisy Nick. Okay? Let's tap their sounds and see if we can figure out what word family this is going to be. Ready? And. Blend those sounds together. And. Now, we learned this last year, and you might have forgot, okay? But Annie Apple's sound changes just a little bit when she sits with Noisy Nick and Munching Mike. Normally, she says, ah. But because Noisy Nick and Munching Mike are nasal sounds, they come from your nose, she becomes more of an nosy sound. I want you to say, for Noisy Nick. Everybody hold it as long as you can. Ready? Now I want you to pinch your nose while you're making that sound, and notice how you can't make it anymore. Ready? It doesn't come out. It's a nose sound. The same thing is true with Munching Mike. I want you to make Munching Mike sound and hold it, and then I want you to pinch your nose. Ready? You can't do it anymore. Okay? That's what changes Annie Apple from that ah sound that she normally makes to like a kind of up in your nose sound. Can you do that? Good job. So you're going to hear her making those funny sounds in and in our other word family, am. We've got the am family, right? So all of these words are going to have am, and then the last one is ack. The ack family. So I'm going to ask Miss Atwood to do me a favor. Can you go get our special pointers that have the helicopter and the train and stuff like that? Because we need to go through and solve what words are on our word family list. And this is going to end up being your activity on Seesaw. So I'm super excited for you to read them with me. Does anybody remember which pointer we start out with? Which one goes the slowest? If you remember, I want you to raise your hand. Which picture should I start with? Rakaya is on it today. Ellison is on it. Way to go, guys. I've already heard from you, so I want to hear from somebody. Jackson is on it. Way to go. I heard from Jackson too, though. I haven't heard from Jameson. Jameson, which picture goes the slowest? Oh, he's thinking so hard down there. Jameson, do trains go slow? No. Do tractors go slow? Yes, so we are going to start with our tractor reading to be able to solve these words. When we read like a tractor, we push through all of the sounds pretty slow, okay? So I am going to unmute you, or you unmute so that you can be a tractor with me. Sit, unmute. All right, so the first word, we're going to make all these sounds and go slow, and I want you to hear the and sound. Ready? Say it with me. And. One more time. And. Can. Good job. Come on down here. Make these sounds. And. And. Ran. Way to be a tractor. All right, last one. And. going to mute all of you. Okay, as we switch to our train. So we're going to read these just a little bit faster. Are you ready, Miss Atwood?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can, ran, van. All right, one more time like a train. Can, ran, van. Wow, that was really good. I want you to pick one of those words to act out for me, and I'm going to try and guess which "and" word you're acting out. So you could either act out can, ran, or van. Let me look. You just do it on the screen, and I'm watching you. You act one, and I'm going to try and guess which one it is. Looks like Rakaya might be driving a van. Ooh. Looks like Theo, it ran.
Yeah.
Well, I see a couple. Looks like Jackson ran. It looks like my friend Allison and Olivia are driving that van. Does anybody want to drink a can of soda? Mrs. Peterson has water in a can for lunch a lot of the time. You might drink from a can. Or if you can do something, you would give 2 thumbs up like, yes, I can. Awesome. All right, we're going to come back to these words, but it's time to be a tractor with our next set. So we're going to go back to being slow, and we're going to read the words in the am family. So we got to put Annie Apple over here. Am. I want you to unmute so you can be a tractor with me. All right, tractor readers. We're going to start right here with this one. Make these sound slowly. J. Am. Jam. Jam. Wow. Okay, come down here. Ready? Am. Sam. Sam. Good reading. Try this one. Am. Pam. And then the last one just says am. Like our word family, this can be a word all by itself. You guys did great. So now we're going to switch to the train side, and we're going to read them a little bit faster. You ready, Miss Atwood? Jam. Sam. Pam. Am. Very good. And before we move on to our last one, I want you to notice how I can use some of our tricky words, like I, a name for myself, am, and then somebody else's name to say, I am Pam. Or you might say, I am Sam. So our greeting and morning meeting tomorrow is going to be an I am greeting, since that's what we're working on. I want you, and I'll assign this on Seesaw, I want you to make a name card for yourself. Make it all pretty and cool. And Miss Atwood and I will hold up the I am cards, and then you can flash your name so that it'll say, I am Mrs. Peterson. And then Miss Atwood would have, I am
Miss Atwood.
So we'll assign that on Seesaw so we can play I am and use these cards tomorrow with our tricky word. We'll bop these back. And it's time for our last group. Okay? So can you move Annie Apple over there for me, Miss Atwood? Thank you. Let's see if we can figure out what these sounds are. Ready? Ack. 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 So all of these are going to have that sound at the end. Notice how Kicking King and Clever Cat are sitting next to each other at the end of all of these words. I need you to unmute so that you can be this tractor with me again. Good job. Ready? Push through these words. B. Ack. B. Ack.
Sack.
Sack. Good job. And the last one? Ack. Pack.
Pack.
Good job. So now we're going to switch from our tractor to our train. And we're going to read them a little bit faster. Ready? Back. Sack. Pack. Very good. So I want you to pick one of these words to act out for me and see if I can guess. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. Guess between back, sack, and pack. Let's see. Act it out. I'm going to guess. Ooh. I see Jackson has a backpack. Neat. Ooh, Olivia might have one too. Good, Allison. So we got a lot of backpacks. What would a sack look like? Can you figure out a sack? Show me what you think that might look like, a sack. If it were me, I might like put it over my shoulder, kind of like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Carries a big backpack.
Sack.
Yeah, on his back, like full of toys. Or in football, if you're a football fan, you might get a sack by going to tackle the quarterback. So maybe you try and like tackle somebody. That's starting this week. Very good. Awesome. All right. So on Seesaw today, friends, you're going to see a list that looks just like this, except it's going to have a lot of words in it. And you're going to see pictures like my tractor and like my train, okay? But you're also going to see the plane and the helicopter. Last week, I made it a little too confusing, and I'm very sorry. I want you to practice with the tractor, practice with the train, okay? Practice reading even faster with the plane, but don't record your voice until you're ready for the helicopter, okay? So let's practice the plane real quick and practice the helicopter so that you know what to do when you record your voice like a helicopter. So we're going to start with our plane, okay? And this reading, Miss Atwood, is where we read pretty fast. Ready? Can, ran, van. Oh, that was good. Ready? Jam, Sam, Pam, am. Ooh. Last one. Back,
sack, pack.
Wow. Do you remember what the helicopter does, Miss Atwood?
Mm-mm.
Okay. This one bounces around to words out of order. Okay? So I want you can stay muted because you're going to do this on Seesaw, but this is what you're going to record is you doing the helicopter. So you should practice with the other ones and the list, but then pick a few to read with the helicopter. Are you ready, Miss Atwood?
Mm-hmm. Jam, pack, ran, am, can, sack.
Wow, that was really good. It's time for us to learn some tricky words. And this is going to be the last thing that we do together before I say see you later. I'm looking at my friends, and I don't know that we're going to keep any of these friends with you, Miss Atwood. I think we're going to let them hop on Seesaw, and then I think we're going to let them hop on iReady. I don't think we're going to split into groups based on who I have here. I think we're going to be okay. All right, so let's start with this tricky word. Point to yourself and say it. I. One more time, point to yourself and say it. I. It's a name for you. I like cheese, right? I am a girl. When you talk about yourself, you use
I.
Very good. What about this tricky word?
Ooh.
Let's move this guy out of the way so he's not confusing us. Does anybody know this tricky word? Allison, what is that word?
Good
And.
job.
So it sounds a little bit like it's got this family in it, the and family up front, but then we just add dippy duck at the end. So I use this when I'm putting two ideas together. This and that. And then I put it together. Can you do that with me? this, and that. Put it together. Boom. I love it. So we have I, and then our last tricky word is like. So I want you to give me a heart. When you like something, right, it makes your heart feel good. You like it. What's something you like, Miss Atwood?
I like spaghetti.
If you like spaghetti too, give Miss Atwood a heart. Ooh, okay. I like puppies. If you like puppies too, give me a heart.
I like puppies.
Awesome. Now, if you already watched Morning Meeting, you learned the arm pull down and spell strategy. We're going to do that with these real quick since it's Tuesday, and then these are going to end up on our Morning Meeting slide to keep practicing. So what you do is you grab the word and you pull it down with your one hand. Ready? Grab it and pull it down real hard. It's like loading it into your speller. Then you put your other arm out like this and you say the letter as you spell it. So it's easy with the one-letter words because there's not a lot to do. So you would say I, and then you would tap the letter I. Johnny, I want to see you doing this, buddy. Pull it down one more time. I. Tap it. I. Oh, that was easy. But it's a little bit harder with more letters like this word, and. Ready? Load it into your speller. And. A. N. D. And. One more time. And. A. N. D. And. Good job. And our last word is like. Put it in your speller. Like. L-I-K-E. Like. One more time. Like. L-I-K-E. Like. You guys are amazing. So, right now, here's what you can be doing. You can be getting on the Letterland website to explore that CK story again, okay? You can be getting on iReady because if you finished your iReady test, there should be a reading lesson on there for you, okay? So Letterland, iReady, and Mrs. Peterson is going to push out the word list. I just have to still add these pictures to it because it doesn't come with these pictures. I got to put them on there so that you can practice with those and then record your voice reading like a helicopter.